So I have a really big announcement, and I'm really excited. I have a top surgery date, and it's in a month and a half. So I am officially getting top surgery on the 18th of March, and I am beyond excited and ecstatic. I can't believe that it's happening, and I didn't think that it was gonna happen for at least another year or two, maybe. I wanted to have it when I was after 1 year on testosterone, just for the testosterone to be able to do what it needed to do in creating the muscles, and everything. And luckily, I was able to get that scheduled. So I will have it done when I've only been on testosterone for 11 months, and there is a reason for that. So I'll tell you a quick little story. So last year, late last year, I went to my sister-in-law's birthday party. It was a 1920s, 1930s birthday party. I went as a page boy, and I know what you're gonna say. Just, I did it, and I thought I'd enjoy it. And I did, initially, until I realized that I could not get rid of the upper section no matter what I did. I am just built a little too large, and I was in a waistcoat, which is what I want to wear for my vow renewal. My wife and I are having a vow renewal here in Australia because we were able to legally be married in the US, but we never got to have a ceremony with the Australian family and friends that we have gathered around us, and our church members. So it's time to bring all of that together, and rather than having a wedding, we're actually just going to do a vow renewal ceremony. So that'll be pretty cool. But the reason I bring that up is because when I was in this waistcoat, I was so dysphoric and uncomfortable, because I could not get rid of the chesticles. And I decided on that day I will not feel that way on that vow renewal. I will not. I want to be whole, well, as whole as I'm choosing to go in my transition, because I don't plan to have lower surgery. So I had decided, though, I was going to be as whole as possible, as I want to be, on the day of my renewal. And that included top surgery. I want to be all that I am, for my wife. And that was just really important to me. And I'm not going to justify it any more than that. It's important to me, and that's what I wanted. And I was scared that it wasn't going to happen. I went to the doctor for my fourth testosterone shot. I talked to him that day. I said, I really, really want top surgery. So could I get the referral to the surgeon of my choice? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So then I called that surgeon and didn't think I would get an appointment anytime soon because it was coming up on the holidays, and they got me in. Went and was very, very nervous. I asked my wife to come with me, which she did. And he explained what he could do. And if I asked for certain things, he would absolutely do it, but it would create certain limitations, or it would change how long the recovery is, or change how much physio I'll need afterwards, and all of these other factors. And I had told him, I said, I don't want to be like flat. I want to look as natural a male as possible. Um, it's my job, it's my responsibility to kind of give you the muscle tissue that I'd like to be mostly contoured around, obviously with the understanding that the muscle will build even more so, and that I just wanted the scars to kind of be a bit more contoured than just straight across. Um, Obviously, nipple placement is important to me, but I didn't. For me, it would be just cosmetics. So I said, I don't really need a nerve stock for that or anything. I really just need them to be there for cosmetic purposes, for me to just look in the mirror and feel good. Um, and I also said I did not care how long the stitches were. I wanted them to be long enough that I wouldn't have any like major skin overhang. Um, and so he described like the scar kind of looking more like an S shape. He offered and asked if I wanted to have liposuction done there on the sides, which I said yes. Um, that way he could stitch everything and tuck everything really really well, and it would reduce the chances of me having what's been known as dog ears. And he heard all of my concerns, and he was really happy with what I was looking for, because he does prefer to leave a small layer of fat in there for contouring. He said doing the longer scar would make things a bit easier to make sure that I would get the look that I wanted. He's confident that his nipple placement will be perfectly symmetrical, and he uses a combination of the measurements that are recommended, like in relation to your collarbone, but he also does it based on um, look, like artistry, right, of placement. So that way it's not like just a square measure, but it's like the measure and then the adjustment of maybe where it'll sit on your chest. So I'm looking forward to what he'll be able to do and the results that I'll get. So after he tells me that he's really happy with what I am hoping to get out of it, he feels super confident that he'll be able to give me what I'm looking for. I am going to admit he is not as experienced as one of the other cosmetic surgeons in the area that I live, and I understand that that's a risk. However, some of the trans men in the area that have had top surgery from him have all said that they were not at all disappointed in their results whatsoever. They did comment that they've had an interesting experience, but won't elaborate on what that means. The experience that I had in my consult so far was excellent. He's a bit hands-on, but very conservative about it. He seems to be very respectful of what a person with gender dysphoria might be experiencing, so he doesn't do a whole lot of touching of the tissue. It's more just like looking and understanding, oh, okay, that's why you're worried about the extra skin on the sides. Okay, I see that. Oh, you've got an extra mole there. Do you want me to get rid of that? And it's like, yeah, please, that'd be great. So he actually is willing to go, to me, it feels like, a little bit above and beyond. And he doesn't charge a gap. So for those who might be in the US that are watching this video, a gap is essentially the deductible, or surgeon's fee. That's what it is. So he does not charge an additional surgeon's fee. What he charges is covered by private health insurance 100%. And here in Australia, with the private health at a private hospital, my deductible, or gap, is only $500. So the majority of my cost is coming from the anesthetist, as they say in Australia, and anesthesiologist in America. That's where the majority of the cost is actually coming from. So not really the surgery, but the anesthesia. Go figure that. So, whatever. Uh, so cost wise, I can actually afford it. And that's what I didn't think that I was going to be able to afford. So, between a really sensitive consult, super informative, I know it's a little bit risky because he's not as experienced, but no one's been upset with his results whatsoever. So I'm very confident in that. The pictures I have seen shows that his stitching technique makes pencil thin scars. So I'm really, really happy about that because I already scar pretty well normally. So if they're that thin, I feel really, and I don't mess them up, I feel really good about it. And the last hurdle was I really need to have this done no later than mid March. And he says, "Oh, no problem." What? What? He's like, "Well, you have private health." And I said, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "Then it shouldn't be a problem. Just talk to we'll have you talk to the scheduler outside." So I go out to the scheduler, who also, by the way, this office, these people are just really beautiful people. And she goes, "Oh, I have March 18th." And I was like, "What?" "Yeah, the 18th of March." "What?" Did really? And she goes, "Yeah." And I was just the feeling of being able to do this, having it be affordable, having it be right around the date that I wanted, by a surgeon I'm confident and is sensitive, somebody who actually is believes that things like top surgeries for trans men and women are necessary surgeries to treat gender dysphoria, not elective but necessary surgical treatment. That changes everything. Like, just having a surgeon that believes that way, and that's why he refuses to charge a surgeon's fee, because he feels like this is something that any trans person should be able to access. That's a surgeon I want taking care of me. When I have said in previous videos that I hope for the best and I plan for the worst, this was the best, the absolute best, and the joy and elation I had walking out of that consult, I never thought I'd ever feel anything like it. um I never ever thought that I would experience something quite like that. So I could almost have cried with joy. So yeah, looking really forward to that. um in preparation for the surgery, though, I wanted to talk about the top surgery. I wanted to make it my own video for it because everybody kind of preps a little bit differently, and I've done a little bit of research. Well, I've done more than a little bit of research. There's a lot of trans men out there that make videos that have done a lot of top surgery or pre-op surgery videos, and so between those and other articles that I've read and things like that to prepare for, I am doing my best. This video is a mix of preparations for pre-op, but also kind of a vlog about how I feel. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to stop and take the time to think beyond the excitement. So for prep, I am using. I'll be right back. So for prep, I am trying to use stuff kind of like this. And what it is this is Palmer's cocoa butter formula with vitamin E, massage lotion for stretch marks, with collagen, elastin, argan oil, and shea butter free of mineral oil, parabens, and th- phthalates. I will have to look up how to actually pronounce that word. Um, Hypoallergenic, is good for sensitive skin. Essentially, it moisturizes and keeps skin supple for 48 hours, which allows the skin to stretch more easily. Widely recommended for stretch marks and scarring. For weight fluctuation. Non-greasy is ideal for all over body use in place of regular moisturizer. So I figure between vitamin E, elastin, and collagen and argan oil, this is something that I want because I need the skin to have increased elasticity. So that's what helps the surgeon actually be able to pull the skin together with limited stretch mark issues, and allows for your skin to heal well, just helping really with that elastic. I'm 37 years old, so my skin elasticity is already a bit more limited than, let's say, somebody who's in their 20s. My skin does not bounce back like it used to, and especially having bound, I have not been binding for quite as long as I'm sure many others who have had top surgery. There have been some people that have been in a binder for so long that, like, their chest area is severely misshapen, and the articles that I've read say that, you know, top surgeons have difficulties with skin elasticity that's been destroyed by extended binder use. That's, you know, one of the reasons why they say don't wear a binder super often or for very long, and why you're not supposed to actually move the chesticles into certain positions within the binder, because it reduces skin elasticity over time. And I didn't start binding consistently until last year. I've always worn like really tight sports bras and things like that. I bound whenever I'd perform as a drag king when I was younger. But though, mind you, I've been in binders before that were by like Underworks that were really, really, really tight and had no breathability and no room to, you know, for you to really breathe effectively. The binders that I've been wearing for the last year have been, had a lot of elastic. It's hard cotton, or it's like really firm, non-stretchable cotton in the front, but it's very spandexy in the back, with just really nice tight stitching. So it helps. It allows you to take a full breath. It doesn't restrict around your rib cage at all. It's not as great at creating like if you're a trans guy that needs a flat chest to feel comfortable, and you're bigger chested like I am, these are not the binders for you. There's just a little too much room. You can get smaller sizes, but really that will just end up hurting you under here. Like, it'll cut into you more. But if you get one that's properly sized for you, you'll end up looking like you just have pecs, which is what I wanted. If you want flat, my binders are not going to be for you. If you want to know what binder I have been using, if you want something that allows you to breathe, that allows you to go work out in, no back pain, no ribcage pain, no issues like that whatsoever, and therefore allows the chesticles to maintain more elasticity than if I had something like Underworks. I'm doing what I can to maintain the elasticity. One of the reasons I went with this company's binder and this style of binder was so that I would maintain as much elasticity as possible. But just to kind of help out, I've been adding lotion to those extremely uncomfortable areas for a trans man. And I just try not to think about it, and I try to understand that I'm doing it so that I have the best results possible. And when I focus on that as my main motivator, I can deal with it a lot better. So there's that. Is there anything else that I'm doing? The mental part. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing the video, is for the mental health side of things. Am I nervous? I think it would be. I think I wouldn't be human if I wasn't a bit nervous about having major surgery. And I think that I haven't taken the time to really think about that either. That it is major surgery. It isn't like some simple. I don't. You know what? Let's not make comparisons. All surgery, in my opinion, is pretty major. If you've got anything cutting into you, it's going to be pretty major. I think that I can expect the possibility of some grief, not because those are gone. Like I want them. I've been wanting them gone since they first grew in as a young person. Um, I have never liked them, so I will be celebrating that those will be gone. But it is a body part that's been on me for, when did they start coming in for me? 11. So for 26 years, these things have existed. And again, I don't know if I'd be human if I didn't acknowledge that. So for 26 years, I've had this particular body part, and despite my hatred for it, despite how uncomfortable they've made me, it's still a body part, and it will no longer be there. And am I upset about that? No. No, I'm not. Is there potential for grief? Some people do. Some people experience grief after they've had them removed. Um, a grief that they can't really describe because they do want them gone, and they're happy that they're gone, but and yet they have this weird sense of grief. I don't know if I will experience that. I hope I don't, to be honest. I don't see what the point of it would be. I guess there's that chance, so I have to mentally be ready to deal with it if it happens. Um, I don't know exactly how you would mentally prepare for the potential of grief of a body part like that being gone. I tried to explain it to my mom, and the way that I explained it was, you as a woman place value in your chest area, right? It's for you, it's a part of your female identity, um, and it's something that's important to you. But a trans man's experience of that part of their body is very different. And for us, it's for us in our mental state, they should have never been there in the first place. So there's something that is put on us that we never wanted. And to remove them is free. It's freedom. It's breaking away from a forced persona. Uh, it means I don't have to hide something of myself anymore. I can just be. And I think that that's what will be the weird part, is transitioning my brain from I have to hide to wait. No, I don't. I can stand up straight now. So, as sensitive as I want to be to people who've had cancer, I am very, my heart goes out to you. As being a member of a family of someone who's had breast cancer, that was a hard thing to watch. It was a hard thing to witness. And is part of the reason why I held off for so long. If I'd had the option to remove them sooner without feeling guilty, I would have. But because of the breast cancer in my family, I felt guilty for wanting them gone for a long time. And it took me going, but what is going to make me feel whole and complete and happy? How am I going to look in the mirror and feel good for once? I have to make that choice for me. I feel like I'm honoring myself. The problem with dysphoria is the insides and the outsides are in constant incongruence. And when you have that, loving yourself is nearly impossible. There's a lot of secondary characteristics you cannot change by diet and exercise. There are some things that can only be changed through hormones. There are some things that can only be changed through surgery. And that is why those are the only approved methods of care for gender dysphoria throughout the entire world. We know conversion therapy doesn't work. I cannot trick my brain into being okay with this. You can for a little while. For a little while. But it's not a choice. If it's innate, if it's built into your brain, it's going to be there. It's just like autistic people, like myself. We can pretend for a really long time. We can become master maskers, as I've been called. We can do that for a time. And the exhaustion builds and builds and builds and builds and builds until you have a mental break. And that's what happened to me in the past. I broke. And I couldn't mask anymore without causing myself excruciating pain. And the same thing happened with being trans. I pretended and pretended and pretended and tried to convince myself that being a masculine lesbian was enough until it wasn't. And I couldn't keep it up anymore. If gender and sexuality were influenced, I would be cis and straight. Because that's all there was in the media. That's all there was around me growing up. These are not contagious things. These are not socially constructed new things. They've been in existence for as long as humanity has been in existence. So, let's just get that out there and please have an understanding that when it comes to even surgical regrets, the regret rate of gender assignment surgery of any kind is 1%. What? All of your media hype BS about detransitioners is still only 1% of 1% of the population. And the general, like, overall for all surgeries, like, on average, regret rate is 14% for like knee surgery, for example, or breast augmentation, for an increased breast size. Much, much higher regret rate. So if there's concern for will I regret this? No. No, I will not. I have been looking forward to this day for as long as I knew that it was a possibility of ever happening. And I will not feel guilty for it. And I will not continuously justify it. Again, this video is more of like processing my feelings, emotions, thoughts, talking it through, informing. But it is not to justify, because I am thrilled. And the amount of euphoria I felt from knowing that I was having surgery coming up, that alone told me how on course I am. When you're in alignment with Christ, if you surrender to his plan and you're in alignment with him, he will make a way. And through every single step of my life over the last few years, since I've come back to God, since I've come back to Christ, every single thing that I have surrendered and aligned myself to his plan with has worked out really, really miraculously. Moving here without issue, having friendships, having good, positive health in my life, a beautiful church community, friendships I never thought that I would, like a friend group I never thought I'd be able to be a part of, that get me and understand me, to actually have the diagnoses so that I could get real help. And now I'm healthier than I've ever been on a mental level and a physical level. Getting started at work and that lining up just perfectly with the perfect job, with the perfect group of people, to make my transition and my process go really smoothly. Getting on hormones was a lot smoother than I ever expected, mostly because, again, I put my journey in God's hands. Condemn me if you will, but that's the truth. Blessed are those who are condemned in my name. I did this in full alignment with him. And everything is working out better than they ever could. My results are fantastic. My relationship is stronger than ever. My relationship with my friendships are stronger than ever. My relationship with my church is stronger than ever. I'm having top surgery at the smallest cost that I could have ever gotten it for. And on the perfect day, in the perfect month, in order to feel whole and complete. If that's not proof of an alignment in Christ, I don't know what is. So, how do I feel about top surgery? I feel ready. I feel good. I feel like you can do anything with God and in Christ. And if there's a struggle, there's a prayer. And if there's fear, there's God. I have friends who are like, do you want to be visited in hospital? Yes, absolutely. Well, then I'm there. I've got multiple friends that are going to be there for me. A wife who'll be there for me. And what more could I ask for? Right? So, yeah, that's it. That's my top surgery video. And hopefully I will record some short little videos throughout my recovery and put those all together for a video eventually. But for now, I really appreciate you. If you are still with me on this video right now, then you truly are one of my best fans, and I love and appreciate you so much. Don't forget to, if you want, no obligations, it's up to you, but if you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell if you want to for notifications so that you know when my next videos are dropping. And I hope to see you next time, and thank you so much once again. Peace.